Welcome to Module 201, Lesson 1, Submaximal Heart Rate Assessment. My name is Emily.
And my name is Ayla, and we are your MyZone Master Trainers.
Let's talk about the purpose of the submaximal assessment, and then we're going to get into it. So the purpose is twofold. One is to compare your client's estimated maximal heart rate in the MyZone system to what's really happening and see if you need to make any adjustments. We know that how you feel during exercise or your rate of perceived exertion should relate to your MyZone zone that you're in during exercise. The second purpose of this assessment is to assess how your client responds to different workloads. So you can gauge their baseline cardiorespiratory fitness, and you can also set goals with them after performing this assessment.
Exactly, and we're going to be demonstrating for you what it would look like as the trainer and the client to go through this submaximal assessment. So Emily is going to start warming up, and she's going to be warming up, and you'll be able to see her tile through the entire assessment. I'm going to have her start warming up in blue, so you can check in with your heart rate. And as Emily's warming up in blue, I'm going to explain each step of the assessment. I'm going to be monitoring Emily's workload throughout the entire assessment. So I'm going to be looking at her watts, which is an indication of her power output, and I'm going to be looking at her rotations per minute. That's on the bike. If she was using a treadmill, I'd be monitoring her speed on the treadmill and the level of incline. So you're looking at the workload and how your client's heart rate is responding to that. And you're coaching them through each zone. So Emily, you're now in blue, beautiful. We're gonna start our 2 minutes from here. So I'm gonna have Emily in blue for 2 minutes. Then we're gonna have 2-minute stages. At the end of the 2 minutes in blue, I'm coaching her up into the green. And then at the end of the 2-minute green zone, I'm gonna coach her into the yellow zone. And I'm gonna have her hit 85% of her maximum heart rate at the end of the 2 minutes in the yellow zone, and then recover down. All the while I'm monitoring her power output, her rotations per minute, that's her workload, and I'm checking in with her about her rate of perceived exertion. Rate of perceived exertion, MyZone has this handy chart, I'm sure you'll get a visual, and you can monitor how your client perceives their exertion level in conjunction with their workload and their heart rate percentage. So Em, how are you feeling right now?
I feel good.
What's your RPE?
Rate of 5.
Okay, great. Rate of perceived exertion is a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very light, 10 being maximal effort. So in the blue zone, we'd expect Emily to be around a 5 or a 6. She's been here now for 1.5 minutes, so I'm going to encourage her to increase her workload and work into the green zone.
Cool.
So keep on going, Em.
Okay.
Great. And I'm also recording now Emily's heart rate in beats per minute, 134, and her percentage, which is 67%, at the end of this 2-minute stage in blue, working into green. I'm also recording Emily's watts and her rotations per minute, and I'm just logging those into my assessment sheet. 140 and 65. Good job, Em.
Thank you.
Yeah. And now we're in green. We begin our 2-minute green stage, and Emily's watts have gone up. Her rotations per minute have stayed about the same. So you're going to need to coach your client on how they can change their workload, right? So on the bike, we can either add resistance or we can add speed to increase workload. On a treadmill, you'd increase speed or you'd increase the incline to increase the workload. I'm going to check in with Emily. She's almost 1 minute into the green stage. What's your rate of perceived exertion, Em?
About a 6, moving up into 7.
Okay, great. I got you there.
Yeah.
6 to a 7. And I'm going to record your heart rate, 152. So Emily's heart rate has gone up about 20 beats per minute since the first stage. That's good. That's what we want to see. She's responding to the increased workload. 76%. Lovely. Emily has just under 1 minute left in the green. How are you feeling now?
Good.
Breaking
Good.
a little bit of a sweat?
It's getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Another test that you can use to check in with your client is the talk test. So I know how hard Emily's working based on how many words she can say at a time as she's responding to me. And in the green zone, I'd expect that she could say 3 or 4 words at a time, so that was a perfect example of the talk test. We're now getting to the end of the green stage, so I'm coaching Emily, bring it on up, girl, into yellow, and we're getting up toward 85%. At the end of this stage, I'm recording her heart rate in beats per minute and her percentage. And what's your RPE right now, Em?
Definitely at a 7.
Definitely at a 7. Last stage is 2 minutes long. It's in the yellow. Check in with your client, make sure that they're doing okay. We want this to be a sub-maximal assessment. We don't want to take them to maximum. Yeehaw! I'm going to record her watts and her rotations per minute right here.
Ooh, I can feel
And
it.
Emily is in the yellow. We're about 20 seconds into this stage.
Yep.
So you've got 1 minute and 40 seconds left.
Great.
At the end, we want to be at 85%.
Cool.
I'm also going to be monitoring how quickly Emily recovers at the end of this assessment, and that's a foreshadowing into the heart rate recovery assessment that's coming next. I'm going to be the client, Emily's going to be the trainer in that one. All right, Em, we're about 1 minute into this stage. What is your rate of perceived exertion?
I'm at about an 8.
Beautiful. And again, we would expect that rate of perceived exertion would correlate with percentage of maximum. So if she's at an 8 and she's around 80%, then that's spot on. If you notice a large discrepancy, you can make changes in your client's estimated heart rate, their estimated max heart rate, in the MyZone system. All right, Emily, you have about 40 seconds left. I need you to get to 85%. You're almost there.
All right.
What is your rate of perceived exertion?
It's still an 8.
Okay, still an 8. Keep breathing, keep breathing. I'm recording Emily's watts and her rotations per minute that she's using to control her heart rate in this intensity. Over time, Emily might need more of a workload to be able to get her heart rate up into these intensities. That's why we want to track the workload that is necessary to get her heart rate where it is. You are at 86%. We're going to close this out in 10 seconds. Finish strong, Em. What is your rate of perceived exertion?
An 8.
Okay,
Sure.
it's an 8 for sure. A very clear and solid 8.
Yes.
All right, you've got 3, 2, 1. Start to take it down. 2 minutes of a recovery. Each minute I'm checking in with Emily and I'm going to ask her her rate of perceived exertion. I'm going to monitor her workload and I'm going to see how her heart rate is recovering. I'm recording all of that on my data recording sheet. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ooh, feels good.
What is your rate of perceived exertion right now?
Oh, like a 6.
A 6.
Easy.
Okay, great. And Emily has significantly decreased her watts on the bike as a way of decreasing workload. So her RPE, her rotations per minute, her RPMs haven't changed a whole lot. She just took quite a bit of resistance off. And look how quickly she's recovering. She's already down into mid-green. Emily's a very fit gal, so we're gonna see her heart rate recover pretty quickly. With your client, you can check in over time to monitor how quick they recover. Emily's gonna tell us all about that in the next assessment that you'll see in the next lesson. All right, we have the final 30 seconds of this submaximal assessment. One more time, Emily, tell me your rate of perceived exertion.
I'd say like a 5 now.
A 5
Yeah.
now. And your watts and your rotations per minute. And you are a nice, cool, calm 68%. That's awesome. And I'm recording that as Emily's recovery heart rate. Finishing in at 132 beats per minute. Emily, brilliant work.
Ooh, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for this lesson. We'll see you soon.